From the first time I played LEGO Marvel Superheroes, Doctor Doom became one of my favourite villains. And because of that, it's very important for me to get a nice representation of him in my collection. Let's see if Mezco's done that. Similar to the Fantastic Four set, it's classic with a few kind of modern alterations, so you can fit him in either. It's tasteful, it's not too much either way. I really like it. The small sculpting details on the mask, on the suit, even the clasps on his cape, it is wonderful. However, these retroactively make the belt look a bit bad because there's paint slop all over. It is a little bit disappointing on this figure. And also with the looks, I do wish that the inside of the cape was the same material as the outside. I get some capes have that, but it just looks cheap on the inside. Go along with his looks, he also comes with these swap out back accessories, so you can have jet thrusters, which is awesome. To apply these, you just remove the cape as it's magnetic through the clasp, and then you just get your fingernails, absolutely rip out your nail beds trying to get these back pieces out. And then it looks pretty decent. Get blast effects for this too. Get two base heads with the figure. One with what looks to be a very small scar on the bottom, and then one with the massive scar. Then you get a total of 3 masks. The one which I thought was going to be my favourite, which is the smooth one, in reality is actually one of my least favourite. Then you have the one that is a bit more angry. It looks a bit more like a Doombot mask. My favourite is the more classic of them all, with the bolts, the rivets, all of that. With this book, which is insane. I love it so much. He also comes with a clear armature so that you can attach to his hand to make it look like it's floating. It's sick. Now, I know I had a problem with the belt that I currently have on the figure, but you also get an alternate belt which comes on in the package, which does look a little bit nicer. To go along with the belt that I have on him currently, though, you also get a holster or an alternate pouch. I like to put both on. The pouch shouldn't technically fit, but I just jam it on there. And to go in the holster, you also get his gun from the original comics with effects for that. The detailing on that pouch is awesome with his insignia on the side. Obviously, I have to mention the Mezco stand. You stand him on it, though, because he's metal. I don't trust the fact that his joints are not going to loosen over time. In here, which is cool, but also a little bit novelty to me, is the power siphon harness. It lights up, which is awesome. It does look really cool, but I just can't imagine myself really using it much. A cool feature, and I'm not going to take that away from the figure, it's just not for me. Now with this Doctor Doom, you get more hands than any individual Mezco I have currently. You get 3 pairs of posing hands, 1 pair of fists, 1 pair of weapon holding hands, 1 pointing hand, 1 pair of spell summoning hands, 2 energy projecting hands, 1 pair of stun shock effect hands, and then also comes with this flat palm hand which you can attach this beam effect. He also gets these massive electricity bolts and this spell effect which just attaches to his wrist. Because of the fact that he's metal, Doctor Doom's posability is very limited. I'm assuming this is just to make sure that tolerances of the joints stay tight, and this is part of what makes me wish that he was not metal. It's a cool selling point, but also not very functional in reality. This is the max range you get on the arms. This is the max range you get on the legs. Waist rotation fights you constantly. You can do it. I have done it. It just doesn't feel great. Head movement's decent. I've heard a lot of people say that the head's really big. That is true if you don't pose the hood properly. Also, because of the fact that he's metal, they weren't able to implement a butterfly joint, which is something that I think this figure desperately needed. He's a character that crosses his arms all the time. They show it on the back of the package. Give him a butterfly joint, even if that means that you don't make him metal. I would have much rather had that. I wasn't ever expecting a really poseable figure. I was expecting one that really looks nice. But when they promote the fact that he can cross his arms in the promotional pictures, I know Mezco Photoshop stuff, and that's a problem of its own. Size-wise, Doom is very imposing. It fits in nicely with everything. A little bit bigger than most figures. And he does really look like he could take on anyone he wanted to, including my wallet, because the value of this figure, I don't know if I'm feeling it. He is technically the most expensive individual release I have, because with the Mezco Fantastic Four, as I said, it's basically 5 figures spread over 360, so it ends up being whatever per figure. But Doctor Doom is 150. That's how much I paid for it. And I get I'm paying for the metal. I get I'm paying for the light up features, all the extra accessories and all of that. But I think the restrictions on the joints is a bit too much past being understandable. And I think the sloppy paintwork on something as small as the belt does still really annoy me for that premium price. His knee pad fell off as well. I've had to re-glue that. Hopefully that doesn't fall off again. Personally, I'm happy with my purchase. I see this as the only Doctor Doom I will ever need. I won't ever really get another one. Also, I make really poor financial decisions. But for someone that's kind of looking to curate their collection and spend money wisely, I can't really recommend him that much. He is really cool. One of my favourite villains. It's great to have a good representation of him, a nice looking figure. I will just have him standing on my shelf a bit like a hot toy. But if you're looking for something that's posable, do everything you want to do with Doom, you won't really get there. You will meet some limitations that fight you throughout the way. Not to say that you can't make this figure look good. You definitely can. For looks with Doom, I'm going to give him a 10. There's not anything design-wise that I change. Obviously, the paint mishaps, that's just an individual thing, hopefully. But the actual design of him, 10. Accessories, 10. I don't need anything more from a Doom. Maybe a sword would be cool, but I don't think he really uses them in the comics. Articulation, he gets a 3. It's awful. Obviously, don't expect much from Doom, but it's still bad. And for value, I'm going to give him a 5. Then you do everything you want with this Doom. Maybe not. But you can almost see where your money's going in terms of the metal and the light up effects and stuff like that. Whether you want them to be in the figure or not. I am really happy to have him in my collection. I'm just struggling to be as positive with him as I am with other figures that I've got from the company. But Mezco Spider-Man is coming in 2 days. So hopefully I'm able to have a lot more fun with him. Anyway, see you later.